Good morning. Welcome to Jagran Public School, and we are about to begin this presentation of the book Vistas, and it is the third chapter from the book titled The Enemy, written by Pearl S. Buck. Let's proceed. And first, let us know something about the author, the writer. Pearl S. Buck was born in Virginia. She spent 40 years of her life in China with her parents. In 1938, she won the Nobel Prize for Literature. By the time of her death in 1973, she had published over 70 books. Now, children, let's proceed to the next slide. This chapter, The Enemy, is based in Japan, and the main protagonist is Dr. Sadao. Dr. Sadao was born in Japan, and in Japan he used to watch the islands. At 22 years of age, he went to America and returned after 8 years. And he became an experienced surgeon and a scientist. Now, because the war was going on and Dr. Sadao was in the forces, but Dr. Sadao was not sent to the war because the general needed him as he was suffering from an illness which Dr. Sadao could only cure. Dr. Sadao was perfecting a discovery which would render wounds clean. Dr. Sadao was true to his profession and he did not discriminate and tried his very best to save the life of a prisoner, the life of a prisoner, POW. Let's know something about his wife Hannah, who was very pleasant, affectionate, and caring. Sadao met Hannah at Professor Harley's house in America. Sadao's father accepted Hannah as she was a Japanese. Sadao married her in Japan in the most traditional way. Last but not the least, Hannah was a responsible and dutiful wife and mother. Children, let's proceed to the next slide. That is the challenge which Dr. Sadao, or for that matter, any doctor would face. It was a misty night when a staggering body appeared and he collapsed. Both the husband and the wife came to the beach and found that he is a white man and an enemy. As you know, children, Japan and America were worst enemies. Sadao and Hannah carried him and took the wounded man to Sadao's father's room, who is no longer alive. Hannah washed the injured soldier because Yumi, the servant, refused, and Hannah had to do the needful. Dr. Sadao operated and Hannah held the anesthetic, and the bullet was removed, which was near the kidney. The prisoner's life was saved, but he was feeble and weak, and he was made to rest till recovery. But Dr. Sadao was also worried about his future. As the servants had left, somebody might go and complain that Dr. Sadao is not true to his country. He is giving, he is taking care of a prisoner who is an American, and everybody knew that Japan and America are worst enemies. Now, look at the dilemma which Dr. Sadao faces. The servants threatened to protest. Now, Dr. Sadao was in a conflict, was in a dilemma between duties as a doctor and duty as a true patriot. Both husband and wife stood like a rock and resolved to save the prisoner and did not relent at all. Both of them were true to their profession and they treated the prisoner with respect. Dr. Sada also helped him to escape from Japan by a South Korean ship. Children, as you know, we should always save. A doctor's duty is always to save a patient. And secondly, a person who saves somebody's life will never ever try to kill him. Now, children, let's proceed and know more about the story. Dr. Sada wishes to inform the general, and the general, of course, offered to help and promised to send the assassins. The assassins would kill and remove the body quietly. 3 nights passed. Dr. Sada kept the windows open, but nobody turned up. Finally, Dr. Sada had to take a decision, seeing his wife and children in distress. Now, after Dr. Sada decides that he should give a new life to the prisoner and, of course, not put his wife and children's life at stake, Sada arranged a boat and gave extra food, clothing, bottled water, and also a flashlight. He gave him a Japanese dress, covered his hair with a black cloth because he had blonde hair, and told him to row the boat and go to an uninhabited island, and also advised him to wait for a Korean fishing boat. Even he told him to flash the torch twice if he ran out of food, flash once if he was all right, and ultimately the prisoner escaped to safety. The prisoner must have felt very relieved that his life was saved. Now, Dr. Sada had guilt feelings, so he went to the general and admitted that he failed his duty towards his country. And even he justified his action of saving the injured American prisoner of war. He helped the prisoner of war because of his ill health and not due to lack of patriotism. I hope, children, you must be understanding why Dr. Sada helped the prisoner. Because he was a doctor, he saved the life of a prisoner, and he did not feel like putting the life of the prisoner in danger. Got it, children? Now let's understand the reflection which Dr. Sada must be going through. He had guilt feelings as to why he saved the American. As he knew pretty well that Americans were the enemy. Of course, being a doctor and a human being first, humanity overpowered him. And for him, his duty towards his patient came first. Even though he was a prisoner of war, but he was a human being who has the right to live. Every human being has the right to live. Dr. Sada was dedicated towards his country as he had informed the general about the American prisoner of war. Now, children, just let's have a look at the questions. The first question is, give reasons why Sada was not sent with the troops. Tell me, children. It is, of course, the general needed Dr. Sada because the treatment which the general needed was only possible through Dr. Sada. What did the servants think of Sada sheltering the enemy? Naturally, the servants did not feel good about Dr. Sada and they thought that they would not cooperate with him. And look at the third question. Explain Hannah plays an important role in saving the life of the prisoner. Yes, of course, because when the servants, the gardener, nobody helped Hannah, she had to help her husband. Being a doctor, she also performed her duty by giving anesthesia to the prisoner of war. Now, the last question. Explain true humanity overpowers prejudices and has no barrier. Yes, we are first of all a human being, and we should not have any prejudice towards other human beings, and there should be no barrier on the basis of caste, creed, or color. Now look at the hot question, children. Humanity transcends over patriotism, discussed with reference to the chapter The Enemy. Dr. Sada proves himself to be a good human being. He rises above the demarcation made by man. Third question. The enemy brings out that human qualities are more important in lives than our social obligations. It is, in fact, the victory of humanity in the moment of crisis. Students, I've already answered many of the questions, in the PDF format. Please go through them. Now look at the fourth question, children. Dr. Sada was a true patriot. Yes. What is your opinion about that? Henna proved to be real support for Dr. Sada. Justify the title, The Enemy. Children, I hope you remember the chapter, birth from class 11. Please take help of that. How a doctor should never derelict his duty towards his patient. For him, a patient life comes first. He forgets whatever problems he must have faced or whatever the day must have been for him. But for him, his patient's life comes first. A doctor should never derelict his duty towards his patient, and he should never have any sort of discrimination on the basis of caste, creed, or color. I hope, children, this chapter is clear to you. Thank you for watching this presentation. Please do send me a feedback, and please go through the questions that has been solved in the PDF format. All of them have been uploaded in the class app. Children, please feel free to discuss any other problem that you may be facing in this particular chapter. Thank you, children.